I'm going to talk to you about your real self. What is your real self? Bliss. Bliss is our real self. If you don't do anything, you are in bliss. What I mean by when you don't do anything, I mean when you don't do anything literally, which means including thinking thoughts. That's also doing something. That's not in your control. But that's a fallacy. The thoughts can be controlled. Thoughts are not natural to us. So the Buddhist teaching, the Tibetan Buddhist teaching, is thoughts are our guests. They check in and check out. Then what is your real self? They say it is the gap in between two thoughts. Living the gap, experiencing the gap is bliss. So what are you going to do in between until you get to a level of experiencing the gap? You have to understand a few things. You have to go through some steps. I gave you yesterday the last step. The last step is going and sitting at the feet of the Guru. The highest Guru of the universe is Lord Shiva. And his disciples go and sit just in front of him, and Shiva never speaks to them. They never ask any question. And this goes on forever. Time is transcended. And in that timelessness, there is tremendous amount of information flow. But the information that comes is not just science and technology. Science and technology create time. It takes 12 to 18 months, they say, to create the vaccine for coronavirus. But if you remain in a state of timelessness, then there won't be any problem at all. There won't be any need for anything. You won't need anything. Just think about a condition where you don't have any thought. And what would that be? How that would be? That would be bliss. We somewhat experience that in our lives during sleep. During our sleep, what happens? We are in bliss because the mind is absent. But when we wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night, the mind comes in, thoughts come in. All these things are due to one thing, that is the mind and thoughts. So, how to stop our thoughts is primarily important. Meditation is all about stopping the thoughts. Now, I spent 3 minutes now. When I look back, I regret because I compared myself in this moment with Patanjali, the father of yoga. He won't speak too many thoughts, so many words. He would say a few words just to convey what I have conveyed in 3 minutes. It's just a waste of time. What did he say about yoga? Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. 4 words. And that says everything. Yoga is stopping the mind, if we translate it in English. Stopping the expansion of the mind. So what I have said in so many words, in 3-4 minutes, can be accomplished by using only 3 words. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Yoga is union with your bliss self. And what is that? Chitta is the mind, vritti is the expansion, nirodha. When you are enlightened, you cannot blah blah. You can only speak what is needed and with few words, and it is completed. And then there is a difference between ordinary speech and the speech that comes out of an enlightened being. Chitta vritti nirodha will create that reality of stopping the expansion of the mind. Language is used in such precision with the ability to create not just a linguistic reality, a symbolic reality, but creating the condition of yoga, which is thoughtlessness, which is union with your blissful self. That's why when you are in the path of enlightenment and when you reach to a certain level, there is a state called nirvikalpa samadhi. There is no vikalpa. There is no movement. And in that samadhi, you understand everything. And that samadhi gives you omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. And that is real education. But what has happened, we have promoted and hold on to the Western model of education as opposed to the Vedic model of education. In the Vedic model of education is creating whatever you want to create just by yourself becoming the creator. By becoming a siddha. A siddha, who is an enlightened being, can create whatever you want to create just by sankalpa. Samkalpa means creating a perfect thought. When you create a perfect thought, it is manifested. You don't create time. You don't create time and space at all. And then if you live in that state of consciousness, you live bliss. Now I have stopped talking to you. I can stay like this forever, but you will be impatient and then you will leave. That's not my intention. So I will talk, but that's not what I really want to do. But anyway, I just would say something that you will be able to relate to. There was a great teacher, J. Krishnamurti, who lived here. And he was a philosopher who never believed in God, never believed in any scriptures. He believed in living an intelligent life. And he wrote a book called The Awakening of Intelligence. The intelligence is not in thoughts. Intelligence is beyond thinking. And I'm going to read to you so that you can easily relate to him. The people in the West related to him more than in India. Now he says, I'm going to read. What is important is not controlling thought, but understanding it. Understanding the origin, the beginning of thought, which is in yourself. That is, the brain stores up memories. You can observe this yourself. You don't have to read books about it. If it had not stored up memories, you would not be able to think at all. There is no memory, that you cannot think at all. That memory is the result of experience of knowledge, yours, or of the community, of the family, of the race, and so on. Thought springs from the storehouse of memory. So thought is never free. It is always old. There is no such thing as freedom of thought. Thought can never be free in itself. It can talk about freedom, but in itself, it is the result of past memories, experiences, and knowledge. Therefore, it is old. Yet, one must have this accumulation of knowledge. This is important. And he is aware of. How can you live without thoughts? Yes, it is a part of memory, and if the memory is not there, then there is no thought. But can you live without it? So he addresses that too. Yet one must have the accumulation of thoughts, otherwise one could not function. One could not speak to another, could not go home, and so on. So knowledge is essential. Okay. So you need to have thoughts in order to be functional. But the yogis did not worry about that because they were living in a different type of environment. And with that ability to manifest everything that you want through the power of consciousness. The highest intelligence is beyond thought. And that cannot be learned through meditation. It has to be given to you. If you remain silent, whatever I have spoken to you up until now is just a waste of time. Just forget it. What I'm going to say now is it will be very valuable, very useful, transformational. And that consciousness just started as I'm speaking to you. When I was reading that book and saying things on my own, just forget them. And now what I'm saying is immensely important. Just stay quiet. Thoughts will arise. There may be judgments. Unless you judge, there won't be any thought. Every thought is a judgment. Otherwise, there will be a complete flow. Even if a judgmental thought comes to you, don't worry about it. Let it go. Remain silent. If thoughts come, let them come, but don't attach yourself to the thoughts. Because thoughts are coming from your ego. They are coming from your frontal lobes, from your memory in the hippocampus. From the parietal lobe that gives you identity. All these are not necessary. Don't move your eyeballs. Just stay still. Just put your attention in between the two eyebrows. You are going to remain for another 4-5 hours. You are not going to go anywhere. Just are going to sit as you are sitting now, and you are not going to move out of this place. You're not going to move from this place for another 4 hours. You cannot look at your watch. You're not going to think that, no, I've been sitting here, it is 1 minute, 2 minutes. You're going to be here for another 4 hours. You're going to be here, sitting, just looking at your third eye, which is in between the two eyebrows. And between the eyebrows is the third eye within the brain, in the middle of the brain. Just go and look inside, in the middle of the brain. Right in the middle of the brain. Visualize a flame there. And that's your third eye. So for another 8 hours, you're not going to move. You're not going to go away. You're not going to go to sleep or anything. You're not going to have your dinner or lunch or whatever. 8 hours, you're going to be there, wherever you're sitting. The words that come to my mind, that I pass on to you, are not my words. I'm not teaching. In other words, my ego is not teaching. The words are flowing, and I'm just passing it on to you. Eight hours, you are not going to move. And this 8 hours has just ended. You have successfully completed 8 hours of focusing your attention, gazing at the third eye. You have just completed the 8 hours. By not moving, going anywhere. Thank God, the universe, for giving you the ability to spend 8 hours focusing on the third eye. Now you can close your eyes. Now you are going to start another meditation focusing on the third eye, putting your attention first in between the eyebrows and then just turning your attention inside into the middle of the brain, and that's where the third eye is. So where you see a light, a flame. You're going to start 80 hours of meditation now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80. Now we are going to start another meditation. I've just completed one day now. One day, 24 hours of meditation. Feel the impact of 24 hours of conscious meditation and how it has changed your body, mind, and soul. Two days have been completed. See the changes. 3 days. 4 days. You will complete the other 4 days by yourself, not now, but after the session, at any time. But for now, you have completed 4 days of continuous meditation. And you have been rejuvenated, body, mind, and soul. You have reclaimed your bliss. This meditation was led by my higher self, not my ego self, not my mind self, but by my higher self, which is God. Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Slowly come back to yourself, your ego self, and open your eyes slowly. You have completed 4 days of meditation for 24 hours. I just reflect now, at this moment, how this meditation came to me. Right before coming here, I was working on Einstein's concept of time as a fourth dimension. And he was the guy who brought in the fourth dimension, time as a fourth dimension. He did an thought experiment. God within me put together a lot of unconnected things and conducted this session. Not only you learned, I learned too. My ego self was watching. Oh my God, I don't have to wait for 18 months for somebody to find a vaccine for coronavirus, which in the first place doesn't even exist from the point of view of the higher self, which is thought-free, which is memory-free, which is bliss. I'm very thankful for you, because without you, I would not have learned from God how you can complete 4 days of meditation, 24 hours of meditation in few minutes. Just reflect on numbers. They are not real. Nothing is real. The mind creates this illusion, and the illusion comes to a standstill when you go to sleep. In the morning, mind comes and creates the illusion, starts. Do this meditation, and within few minutes, complete 4 consecutive days of meditation. Thank God from the bottom of your heart for His gift. I have no time to go. I was going to talk about phonemic intelligence, the science which I have created and still keep working on it. It is available for free if you go to Pillai Center and check on phonemic intelligence. The phonemic intelligence is coeval with the bliss, with the soul, with omniscience, with omnipotence, with omnipresence. It is the ultimate education, ultimate intelligence. It's God's gift. You can learn it. And that's one of the reasons why I came here, to teach timeless education, which is just bliss. That is where humanity is heading towards. If we continue with this model of education, with this mind and with this technology and science, it's not going to work. We will die, come back, we'll die and come back. And it's not a good model. Let's all pray for God to expedite human evolution so that we become gods. God bless.